All right, get in here. We don't have time for any preliminary baloney. Let's go. Let's go. I've had a day. I am on limited time today. I don't have time for intros. I don't have time for any of that shit. Here's what we're going to do. I had to be on Legal Vices today. We did the last episode of the whatchamacallit, sidebars. And then I had to go pick up my dog from getting a bath, Jeff now has me worried about saying the word groomer, but that's where he went. Yeah, but I guess we can't say that on YouTube. Too late. Screwed that up. Anyway, I got the dog. I picked him up, but I have to be at work by 4, which means I have to leave here at like 3:30. So that's all the time we have. So we have to get going. I am picking through my kids' candy, my Halloween candy. I'm munching on Skittles. I got all the good stuff out of the candy already. Left them with the gross stuff because that's what parents do. That's the payment that I get for walking around in the rain and snow for like 3 hours last night. It was insane. It snowed. It snowed. Okay. Let's go. I'm sorry. I'm chewing in your ear. I'm not going to do that. All right. You guys aren't going to believe what Johns Hopkins has decided to tell us today. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, but Jesus himself, dumpster Jesus, maybe this is what happened. Maybe this nurse, the newest one, went out to the dumpster, found Jesus, and affixed his hands and feet to her body, miraculously had a transformation into Jesus himself. And then she goes into the hospital rooms and, lays hands on everyone at Johns Hopkins. And they have a miraculous spiritual experience. She's just healing people all over the place. Yeah, you're going to like this one. She's Jesus. This is her. This is her. Jesus came back to life through her. She said she walks into the room with the power of Christ inside her. Now, I have known a lot of very sweet religious people who believe in the power of Jesus, and so do I. I believe Jesus has a lot of power. I believe the name of Jesus has a lot of power, and it upsets me to hear these child nappers running around invoking Jesus's name. You stole a kid, you treated her like garbage, and now you want us to believe that you are like our Lord. I'm sorry, but our Lord does not approve of this. This is what our Lord said the Sadducees and the Pharisees would do. That they would stand around on the corner raving about how good they are. Look at me and my goodness and my spirituality, and look at how good I am. And I stand out on the corner and I pray out loud and I tell people all about how good I am. That's what I'm getting from this one. And I don't like it one bit. So I'm actually going to skip over the first nurse. The first one was so boring. And like here's the first one. Where is she? This one. Oh, that's a good screenshot. I have nothing to say about this. I sped through her testimony. She was a nurse, I guess. She didn't have anything to say, except that Maya loved her nurses. Oh, she just had a list of all her favorite nurses. And she talked about who Maya loved and how they all loved Maya, and everybody just loved Maya. I guess we could hear Anderson's cross on her. Although it was boring. So you guys can go back and watch it. But this one, this one. Whoo, boy. Yeah, Special K, I don't know why she didn't get booted for talking to her attorney. We'll get to that. We got to hear this woman, though.
I have a pretty strong faith background. I grew up in a Christian home.
It's miraculous. I just happened to click on the part where this woman is about to tell us how good she is, how miraculous she is. I mean, this woman, we don't need any more saints. I think we should call the Pope and have him get rid of all the saints and just replace them with her. She's even better than Saint Lisa of the laundry.
I have a pretty strong faith background. I grew up in a Christian home with parents who love and serve the Lord, and they taught me to do the same thing. And so,
All right. I have some very good information on Christianity itself in general. For one, I can tell you right now that the type of Christianity she's talking about, if it's even real, it's not Catholicism. That's not the way Catholics talk about their faith. The kinds of people who she uses a lot of phraseology that I recognize from fundamentalist evangelical circles in which I was raised. So when I hear phrases like, I was taught my parents loved and served the Lord, that is a very overused phrase. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with people who want to love and serve the Lord. There's something really icky, though, about someone who says, I was raised to love and serve the Lord. Mm. Mm-mm. No, it hits me right in the wrong spot. Do you know about the wrong spot? It's the spot that makes your spine just kind of, no. Also, yeah, if she were this religious, she'd be married by now. Actually, Rafe, I think she is, because they ask her name in the beginning, and they say she had her maiden name in the hospital, but now she has a different name. So I'm assuming that she is married. Are we really doing a religious pissing contest right now? LOL. Yes, apparently yes. It's whose side is more religious than the other. And I also don't like, let's go back. I don't like the way she said this either.
love and serve the Lord, and they taught me to
Oh,
do
it's just it's so insincere. It's so insincere. Ugh. Yuck.
pretty strong faith background. I grew up in a Christian home with parents who love and serve the Lord, and they taught me to do the same thing.
What's with these head? I was taught to love and serve the Lord. What is this? I would really like a body language expert. For one, I was just listening to the the body language guys. What are they called? The ones with the huge channel. The four of them. There's four of them. Anyway, I was watching this Patsy Ramsey thing, and she was being interviewed, and she was talking down to them with her chin up in the air. She did this, kind of like this one just did. She just did one of these, and they said that that's a real sign of I'm superior. I have a superiority problem. Yeah, All Saints Day, Chris. Yes, we can just get rid of All Saints Day and make it Nurse Whoever Day. Amanda. This is Saint Amanda Day. I think that's her name. So the woman they had on right before her got on to say that Amanda was was Maya's favorite nurse.
And so growing up, I wanted to be that love to other people, to patients.
The word
I
is
wanted
people.
to be the hands and feet of Jesus, I guess you could say.
Oh my God. She's so proud of herself, too. She's so proud of herself for this. I wanted to be a nurse because I wanted to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
With parents who love and serve the Lord, and they taught me to do the same thing. And so growing up, I wanted to be that love to other people, to patients. I wanted to be the hands and feet of Jesus, I guess you could say. And so nursing was a way to do that. I believe that when I walk into a room, I carry the power of the living God living inside of me. And so,
oh, there it is. That's another phraseology. We're looking for fundamentalist evangelical phrases, and this is one of them. The power of the living Christ inside of me. Do these people know how cringe they sound? Do they know? Like, I realized that she was raised like this, but not even my most religiously fundamentalist family members speak like this. Like, even I was raised in the apostolic church. This is where you come up with phrases like this. I believe when I walk into the room, I carry the power of the living Christ in me. Okay, calm down. Yeah, do you also walk on water? Now, that's not to say I don't believe in the power of the living Christ. You guys know that I do. I'm a practicing Catholic. I do. I believe all of that. I think it's really strange, though, to tell a jury that you believe you have the power of the living Christ inside you when you walk into a hospital room. What's next? Are you breaking the gross hospital food into pieces and feeding a whole floor with the gross oatmeal? I don't understand what this is about. And yeah, it's possible she watched Joel Olstein. Yes. Um, uh, you thought I was exaggerating? No, she said it. Yeah, okay, so thank you for bringing this up. Testicular Trauma says, so her version of Christianity may not gel with the Catholic version. I can guarantee you this. I can guarantee you this. Whatever church she was raised in taught her the Catholics are demonic. Taught her the Catholics are not Christian. These phrases coming out of her mouth, the power of the living Christ inside me, the hands and feet of Jesus, I taught to love and serve the Lord. All three of those things, love and serve the Lord, the power of the living Christ inside me, and what's the third thing I said? Love and serve the Lord. Oh, hands and feet of Jesus. All three of these things tell me that she was raised in a place where they dislike Catholics a lot. Like a lot. Because that's just how it works. The fundamentalist evangelical branch believes that Catholicism is of the devil. If she were to see a rosary, she would believe that it was a satanic thing. And I wouldn't put it past, unhung hero, stop that right now. Stop it. Stop it. We're not doing that. I would not put it past her to have said something to Maya highly prejudicial against Catholicism or highly offensive to Maya. I would not put it past her. I'm not saying she did it. I'm just saying this is the type.
So when I walk into the room, I can bring hope in hopeless situations.
You can?
And peace in stressful situations, and joy in times of mourning. And so,
oh my God,
stressful situation, I can bring
gosh,
hope.
she's quoting the Bible. She's quoting the Bible. They do this. And when someone like my mom does it, I love her for it because she's sincere. But when someone does it like this to a jury of strangers just to make herself look good, it's so cringe.
In hopeless situation living inside of me. That
Let's hear this whole thing.
Was a way to do that. I believe that when I walk into a room, I carry the power of the living God living inside of me. And so when I walk into the room, I can bring hope in hopeless situations, and peace in stressful situations, and joy in times of mourning. And so,
did she practice this in front of the mirror? They really thought this was going to work well for them, didn't they?
My patients are not just a person, but there's someone I can love. There's someone I can care for. There's someone I can bring hope for. And so it's that little girl that's scared and nervous and doesn't have her family with her, or that mom that just lost their child, or that child that was just diagnosed with cancer. It's that being able to love on them and be the love of God, and really just help them through those situations.
Now, I understand you were Maya's floor nurse.
She's like, are they buying it? She just gave the side eye to the jury. Watch.
Help them through those situations.
Watch her look back at the jury.
Now, I understand you were Maya's floor nurse.
Oh, I wasn't smiling. Did they buy it? She's a nurse named Amanda, folks. Unhung Hero, thank you for the super chat. Long live sweet baby dumpster Jesus. I don't know what to say about these folks, except that I think they have a very long time in purgatory coming for them.
Nurse back in 2016 and into early 2017, right?
Correct.
Why don't you tell the jury a little bit about how, as a spiritual person, you interacted with Maya on a spiritual level?
Yeah. So when I first met Maya, she was sweet, a little 9 or 10-year-old blonde little girl that I remember carrying her rosary beads and loved God. And so that was a mutual connection that we had. And I had opportunities to pray with her and talk with her about God, and just be able to comfort her in just times.
Unhung Hero says, kids are people I can love. Chris Hansen enters the chat. Thank you, Unhung Hero.
Of unknown, you're a 9 or 10-year-old in a place that is not your home. So
Did you ever have the opportunity to pray with Maya?
I did.
Was that something you would do often?
I would.
And did Maya have access to a rosary?
She did.
I also understand you were present for some of Maya Kowalski's, what I'll call an AM routine, how she would get ready for the day. Why don't you paint a picture for the jury about how Maya liked to get ready and the things that you or other staff members would do to help her with that?
Yeah, that's correct. So we worked as.
All right, that's the end of her religiosity, the spirit of spirituality, shall we say. Yeah, this would be a good question. Did you try to convert her? I actually think that I'm not sure any of this is true. I'm not sure that she ever did pray with her. I think she did call it rosary beads. Some people have noticed that, like, she's not wearing a cross. But if she is part of this type of religion I'm talking about, she wouldn't. They don't do that. For one, usually they don't wear any jewelry at all. If they were to wear jewelry, it would be like a wedding ring, but they don't wear crosses. They don't wear crucifixes, and they don't wear. They would consider that to be a form of idolatry. Yeah, and the witchy black hair is back, by the way. I couldn't believe it when I saw who was on the stand and what she looked like. I was like, again? Again. Yeah, is she married to a Duggar? Quite possibly. Oh, Lord.
As a collaborative team with Maya. There were days
That
I
really
specifically
bothered me,
cared
though.
for Maya. There's days that I just helped out.
I don't like her body language at all. This it helped out. Like, everything about it is a put on. She feels very fake to me.
And she really liked her time in the morning. She liked to have her time with God. She liked to get dressed. She likes to put on her makeup. She liked to have a slow morning of eating her breakfast.
What is this? This reminds me of someone. Who does it remind me of? Look at these faces. Wonder if she has histrionic personality disorder. Is this like Amber Heard?
You or other staff members would do to help her with that?
Let's watch
Yeah,
that body
that's correct.
language
So,
again.
We worked as a collaborative team with Maya. There were days I specifically cared for Maya. There's days that I just helped out. And she really liked her time in the morning. She liked to have her time with God. She liked to get dressed. She likes to put on her makeup. She liked to have a slow morning of eating her breakfast. And so it was very common for us to check in with her, get her anything that she needed, give her the time that she needed. And then the day would start kind of once she was all ready, when she was dressed, her makeup was on, she had her time.
I am also confused. I'm confused it's happening with Harper. I thought Maya was screaming profanities at all of them. Which story are we going with today, JHACH? The devil-possessed demonic child that was hurling profanities and spitting on you, or the angelic, devout little Catholic girl who never said a bad word to anyone? and who just loved being in the hospital. She loved every minute of it. She just loved her time in the morning. It was so great. It was so great. This is my impression of this woman. She loved being in the hospital with us. We made every day of hers just a living dream. And she had lots of time in the morning to get her breakfast eaten. And what the hell is this? What are we doing? Are you auditioning for a movie part or are you testifying in court? Meghan Markle. Yes. Oh my God, it is Meghan Markle. It's not Amber Heard, it's Meghan Markle. She is a Meghan Markle. And oh, with the hands. Meghan Markle is always with the hands. And the word salad. Oh,
Okay. And did you ever help Maya with getting dressed?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you tell the jury about what it was, how it was the nursing staff would help Maya get her clothes on, for example?
Yeah, so as
Who is
time
this
went on,
crisis
Maya
actor?
was able to, I would do a
It's like all these crisis actors went to the exact same costumery and they got the same black wig and the same chunky glasses. And like the costume department was very low on everything except long black witchy wigs and chunky glasses. So they all just took some. And
assistance helping her to her chair. She would put her clothes on. She would, if she needed assistance as far as putting her pants on or whatever it may be, we would kind of give her as much privacy as we could as far as, turning her heads but helping her put her clothes on in the morning if that's what she needed at the time.
What about showering? Why don't you tell the jury a little bit about Maya's showering routine and how you or other nurses helped with that?
So I do recall transferring her in her wheelchair. There was a bathroom inside her room. And so we would help transfer her to the shower. And she was mostly, from my recollection and from my charting, she was able to do it for the most part independently. And we would give her, step out of the bathroom, give her privacy for that. And then when she was ready, we would come back in and help her.
And am I correct that you also rendered some nursing services while Maya Kowalski was in the EEG room, also room 709?
That is correct.
Okay. How do you describe the layout of the EEG room as it compares to all the other hospital rooms that would be on 7 North?
So it looks like just like any other room.
What is this body language? What is she telling us? She's definitely a TikTok nurse, says Purple Pros. I agree. I guarantee you she made one of those dancing videos that pissed us all off during COVID. Remember those when they were all dancing, when the rest of us were stuck inside our houses and all these idiots were dancing on hospital rooftops in the PPE that supposedly was so hard to come by? Remember that? She definitely was probably one of those. But look at this weirdness here. Look at this.
So it looks like just like it.
What is this body language here?
The other room.
Why does that make her laugh?
It looks like just like any other room.
Why does she appear to be flirting with someone? This is something you would say. This is like what you would say, like, well, this old thing, I just picked it out of my closet this morning. Like, what is she doing? This makes no sense.
So it looks like just like any other room.
Who is she talking to?
As you walk into the room, there's a computer and a sink. A computer on the right-hand side, a sink. If you look forward, there's a window with a windowsill, and the bed is on the right-hand side, and then the bathroom is to the corner on the left, as well as there's a TV on the left-hand side as well.
And I understand that there was a bedside commode in.
And every time she stops talking, the put on expression falls off her face. Let's watch that again. Because watch when she's talking, and then as soon as she stops talking, she goes back to this very strange neutral face that we haven't seen before.
And I understand that there was a bedside
TV on the left-hand side as well.
And I understand
See that?
that there was a
She
bedside.
looks terrified. She goes from smiling and flirting with the jury to looking terrified. Maybe she is
commode
terrified.
in the
I don't know.
EEG room is correct as well, correct?
That is correct.
Why don't you
Yes.
tell the jury a little bit about how you physically, as a nurse, would interact with a patient like Maya with respect to a bedside commode, getting from the bed to the bedside commode, that type of thing?
Yeah. So with the bedside commode, we would often help transfer her from the bed to the commode if she was using the commode rather than the bathroom, especially at night. We would help transfer her to the commode. And then normally while she
Sue Miller, I'm so glad you said this. These nurses seem kind of self involved and useless. I'm a retired nurse, and on my shift, I'd have told this one to cut the drivel and get on with her work. I just want to say we have a lot of nurses in this audience. I have a lot of you who are medical professionals, and I appreciate what you do. And I know that there are good nurses out there who don't behave like this and who would not testify against their patients like this, the way that a bunch of these JHACH nurses are doing. And we have reason to believe now that these people are all caught up in a huge scandal that by the time it's done may be an international scandal because of how many doctors and nurses have been in on harming families at JHATCH. We already know there's a second lawsuit that Greg Anderson is bringing forward. Those people, the Kirchners, are going to actually end up testifying in this case, and their case is winding its way through this legal system now, and they're suing all the same people for all the same shit. So this is a problem in this corporate culture at JHATCH. That doesn't mean that we have negative opinions of nurses or the nursing profession in general. In fact, I have been very blessed to have come into contact with many good nurses throughout the births of all three of my babies. Well, one nurse was really bad, but I got her fired. She deserved it. She, but most of the nurses that I've ever dealt with have been professional and really good. And it's sickening. I bet it's really hard for those of you in the medical profession to watch these people do what they're doing.
use the commode, we would turn around, look the other way, and then when she was ready for any type of assistance and transfer back, we would.
Is it common for there to be a little bit of space between the bedside commode and the bed, such that the commode's not right up against the bed?
Correct. There's a little bit of space in between.
And why is that space there?
This is what I'm expecting, Jason Smith. Fat Clark Kent says, what does it mean when you say she drew a pentagram on the floor with nail polish remover and lit it on fire? What does that mean? We're expecting that to happen any
For
minute.
safety, giving a little time for transfer. I mean, you have two people that have to transfer a patient, or one person that has to transfer a patient. So
Her face
do you
falling
recall
out of
any instances?
She's so animated when she's talking, and then her face just completely collapses. Are you seeing this? I've never seen anything like it. When she's not talking, her face just collapses. Do you see this? Look at how animated her face is when she's talking versus sitting listening.
It's not right up against the bed.
correct. There's a little bit of space in between.
And why is that space there?
For safety, giving a little time for transfer. I mean, you have two people that have to transfer a patient, or one person that has to transfer a patient. So
And dead.
Um,
What?
do you recall any instances in the EEG room where Maya Kowalski had an episode of incontinence?
I do not recall that.
Is that something you would have put in your nursing charting if it happened?
That is correct.
And you didn't hear from anybody else that happened?
I did not hear from anybody else that happened.
Did Maya Kowalski have her good days and some bad days?
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you tell the jury some of the things that you or other members of the staff would do on days where maybe she wasn't particularly feeling all that well or wasn't very cheerful?
Yeah, so we had opportunities. We had different, we are a children's hospital, so we have a piano, we have a chapel, we have a playroom. So especially on the days in which she maybe was down, we would talk to her, like what she wanted to do that day, whether we would always do that.
Just keep an eye on how animated her face is when she's speaking and how different it is from when she's not speaking. It's like she's pulling out a character out of nowhere, and then what's underneath really is just like dead and blank.
But if she wanted to go to the piano, we may spend a little.
And I don't know what that means. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying it's a bizarre thing. I don't see people like this very often.
But time with her making bracelets, or she loves Shopkins. So sometimes when we
Problem
contact our child life
and scene.
specialists, they have toys on site so they can bring stuff in. Whether she needed a
Say
little bit more time
Shopkins
to,
again. Say Shopkins one more time. Say Shopkins again.
to spend time with the Lord or whatever she needed, that we would often do that.
Now, the jury's heard quite a bit about Shopkins, but can you take us back into 2016 and 2017 and tell us about the kind of stuff, and I'll use that term loosely, that was brought into Maya's room from friends, families, and
More
other folks?
Shopkins.
Yeah, she loved Shopkins. I don't have any children of my own, but I remember specifically how much she loved Shopkins. She had the entire windowsill filled with Shopkins and stuffed
John
animals.
Shopkins.
And I know that
Symphonies, you were gonna call it John Shopkins from now on. It's the John Shopkins defense. Oh my God.
family members would bring those in, nurses, if we saw something out that a Shopkin that she didn't have because it was like collectible, if I
John
recall,
Shopkins, all
we
children's
would bring those in
hospital.
for her, child life, just the different staff members.
So if you, for example, saw a Shopkin out on your own time, you'd use your own money to purchase it, bring it back for Maya?
Yeah, we really loved.
You can answer.
I'm sorry. We really loved Maya. She became part of our unit.
Oh, they were out buying her Shopkins. I want the receipts. Show me the credit card receipts. Show me. I want to see. I want to see all these toys you bought for Maya with your own money.
She was there for a while, so
Was she appreciative of things like people bringing a Shopkin in on their own time?
absolutely.
For the love of
What about
dumpster
food?
Jesus. Shut
Did you
the fuck
recall
up about
Maya's
Shopkins.
patterns with food or ordering food, that type of thing?
Yeah, there was things that she liked. She could have the opportunity to call down to the cafeteria and order specifically what she wanted. There was times that if she was getting ready in the morning, in order to have her food delivered at a right time, we could put a little message into the cafeteria. And so we've ordered, Captain Crunch or not, sorry, Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Cheerios or milkshake, sandwiches, different things like that.
And in terms of your nursing charting, did you observe any improvement with Maya's upper and lower extremities over the time that you rendered services to her?
Yeah, I do recall early, one of my first times taking care of her, charted in October, her upper extremities were more weak. And then as time went on, her upper extremities, she was able to do more independently, and it was mostly just the lower extremities.
And do you recall Maya receiving any visitors during the time she was at All Children's Hospital?
I did, yes.
Who were some of the folks that would come visit Maya?
I know her dad came to visit her, her brother, her aunt and uncle are the ones that I mostly remember.
Were you ever nominated for a Daisy Award by Maya Kowalski?
So I do remember, I believe I was. I do not have the nomination. I went through a move, so I looked for it because I was like, I feel like I was.
Do you know if any of the other nurses on staff received the nomination?
So you didn't get that nomination. I feel like I was, but maybe not.
To my recollection, yes, there were a couple.
And when you were caring for Maya Kowalski, did you consider her to be kind of part of your family?
Yeah, I felt like I was in my mid.
Do I say that a lot? Stop. Just stop. Stop.
20s when I was caring for her. So I felt like she
Stop
was
it.
one of my nieces or daughters. Like I cared for her like she was my own.
Oh, shut up. No, I
really
hate it when
appreciate
people
your
say
time
that.
for coming in today.
Please, God, never ever say that, especially to the parents of a sick child. Do not say that you love her like she was your own. You will never understand, especially someone who hasn't had a child, as this one says she hasn't. You don't understand a parent's love for a child. You just don't. No one does. I didn't understand it before I was a parent. The only time you get to say you sort of understand that is if you're a parent yourself. But even then, you know that you don't, if you're being honest with yourself, you know damn well you don't love anybody else's children as much as you love your own. Let's just be totally honest. In fact, I pretty much don't even like other people's kids. I love my own, but other people's children annoy me. Okay? I'm just being honest. And I hate it. I hate it when people use phrases like, I loved her like she was my own. No, you didn't. You don't. You couldn't. You can never experience that love unless they are your own, unless she is your own. You won't understand it. You just won't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's your witness.
Besides, we all see that you're in love with yourself.
And when was the
No
last
whisper
time
curse,
that
weird
you got
smiling.
in contact with Maya?
It would have been,
7 years ago.
yeah,
6 years
before
ago.
she left the hospital.
You were that close.
I'm sorry?
You were that close, right?
Yes.
It was 7 years ago. All right. So then you are aware that excuse me, that Maya lost her mom, right?
I am aware of that, yes.
Yeah. And I didn't see your name in any of the records.
What is she
from
doing?
the-
What is she doing? What is she doing? What is she doing? What? I'm sorry. They're discussing the suicide of Maya's mom right now. What is this face? What is this face? Chin up, smiling smugly. What is this? What?
I
Listen
didn't
to-
see
watch
lost her mom,
this.
right? You're aware that excuse me, that Maya lost her mom, right?
I am aware of that, yes.
Yeah. And I didn't see your
Smiling
name in any
weirdly.
of the records from
Chin up,
the 8th on to the time
still
that Maya
smiling.
left Johns Hopkins. Isn't it true you did not see her during that period?
What?
Johns
She
Hopkins.
winked. What?
The 8th. I didn't see your name in any of the records from the 8th
I don't see a
on
wink.
to
I
the
see
time
blinking.
that Maya left Johns Hopkins. Isn't it true you did not see her during that period?
The 8th of what? I'm sorry.
After the 8th of January 2017, the day her mom, or the day
I didn't
after
see a
17,
wink.
The 8th.
Where? Where did you see a wink?
and I didn't see, lost her mom, right?
I am aware of that, yes.
Yeah. And
Blink.
I didn't see your name in any of the
Smiling.
records
Blinking.
from
Blink.
the 8th on to the time that
Blink.
Maya left.
Both eyes are
Johns
blinking.
Hopkins.
Blink.
Isn't it true you did not see her during
Blink.
that period?
There's no
The
wink.
8th of what? I'm sorry.
I didn't see a wink.
After the 8th of January 2017,
Before
day-
that, how far
I
back?
didn't see lost her mom, right? Where excuse me.
Oh
So
my God,
then-
she did.
You are aware that a man.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. That Maya.
Who is she
lost
winking
her mom,
at?
right?
She's winking at the jury. This is the second defense witness that winked at the jury. The other one was the financial guy. Oh my God, what is happening?
I am aware of that.
And excuse me. That Maya lost her mom, right?
I am aware of that.
Oh,
yes.
that was weird.
And I didn't see your name in any of the records from the 8th on to the time.
No, it wasn't a blink. It was a one eye and then the other one closed and then it opened again. It was a deliberate wink. It was an awkward wink, but it was a wink.
And that Maya left Johns Hopkins. Isn't it true you did not see her during that period?
The 8th of what? I'm sorry.
After the 8th of January 2017, the day her mom, or the day after her mom killed herself.
So I worked on the unit and it was a collaborative.
Ma'am, my question is, were you there or not?
Was I at the hospital that day?
No. Were you there on the floor with Maya?
I don't recall if I worked that exact day or not.
You
So
don't
you were
you
so
wouldn't
close.
recall you wouldn't recall the day that you found out that your favorite patient's mother unalived herself. You wouldn't remember that. This is so much
Regardless
garbage.
of whether you were working there or not, but you were so close that on the day after she lost her mom, you did not come in to pay your condolences. True?
I did not say that.
If you were on the floor, you did not go in to pay your condolences, did you?
I paid my condolences to Maya. I do not recall what day it was.
Right.
You don't? Why?
And what? You walked into the room, you sent a card, what'd you do?
I talked to Maya, asked her if she needed prayer.
And
Oh,
if there was
weird smile
okay.
again. Weird smile again. What is happening? Because all her memory is used up by the Shopkins catalog. Oh, I don't.
Prayer. How many times did you and Maya attend services together?
I did not attend a service with Maya.
Was Maya able to attend services of any kind?
To my recollection, yes, she was allowed to.
Where would she do that?
If there's a chapel, she could talk to the priest or the chaplain.
You do know what a religious service is, don't you?
I'm sorry?
You do know what a religious service is, don't you? A Christian religious service, obviously you do.
Yes.
There were no services there on Sundays that Maya could attend. True?
Overruled.
True.
To my recollection, that is true.
Now, a patient.
Oh, what was
well,
that?
First, let me ask.
That is true.
Now, a patient.
What is this face? This is a weird thing. I'm going to see that again.
To my recollection, that is true.
Now, a patient.
What the
Well, first, let me
heck?
ask. On the video, there appears to be someone applying cream to Maya's lesions. Was that you on the EEG surveillance video? You've seen that?
I don't recall that video.
Okay. Well, assume here that there was, we're trying to figure out which nurse it was who was applying cream to Maya's lesions. Would that have been you?
I don't recall that video. I do not know.
Okay. Well, you said you were there, right? And you described the room, correct?
Correct.
Right. Did you ever apply any lotion or cream to Maya's lesions?
That's the answer.
Overruled.
I do not recall.
You do not recall either way?
I do not recall applying lotion to Maya's lesions.
Well, maybe not in that circumstance, but in any circumstance?
I don't specifically recall.
That's okay. Just tell me generally.
I don't recall.
All right. So it would be if a patient, particularly somebody you really cared about, like Maya, was forced to defecate on herself while in your and the other nurses' care. That would be, I'm not asking you to agree with me on whether it happened or not, but if it did happen, that would be embarrassing, would it not?
Assumes facts, not an evidence.
Oh my God, she looks like she's
But if it did
pooping.
happen, that would be embarrassing, would it not?
What? Why is she making a poop face? Who is she? What is this? What is happening? What is happening right now? I don't understand humanity anymore. I've never seen anyone on a stand like this. This is reaching Dr. Spiegel levels of weird. He's talking about this poor little girl defecating on herself, and she does this. She looks like she just hunched down and squatted down to take a poop. Watch.
You to agree with me on whether it happened or not. But if it did happen, that would be embarrassing, would it not?
Assumes facts, not an evidence.
The hell?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. If a child was put in a situation where she had to defecate, poop on herself, that would
Why
be
is she
an
smiling?
embarrassing situation.
Why
would it
are you smiling? Why are you trying? Are you trying not to laugh? I don't. Ugh. This is so uncomfortable.
not? If a child was put in a situation where she had to defecate, poop on herself, that would be an embarrassing situation, would it not?
That is correct.
Oh, she just rolled her eyes in the back of her head. Did you see
Would be
that?
an embarrassing situation, would it not?
Look at this. What? Oh God. Is this the part where the demon comes out and she starts what is going on? What is
That is correct.
what?
Be an embarrassing situation, would it not?
That is correct.
Oh,
And you and the other nurses,
oh, this
That
is
is
such
correct.
a put on. Look at this face.
and you and the other nurses were
I'm
the
posing.
people that would
I'm
put the
posing for the
information
jury.
into
I'm posing. Posing. I'm looking as pretty as I can. It's bizarre.
the nursing chart, correct?
That
MG
is
Law, are you around? Oh shit. God damn it. MG Law, are you around? Can you come on? Do you want to come on? I'll send you the link. I should have sent the link in
It
the
can
group
get in the
chat.
way. So it's something that will have to be moved if it's in her bag.
In no apparent distress and smiling.
Wait, where was I?
Yeah, I felt like I was in my mid-20s when
No, we already
So I'm
got
going to
there.
read them to you.
Okay, before this.
Were you on the PICU floor?
No.
Before this. Oh, this might be the part where she got in trouble for saying
Okay. You
she heard it
defecate
from
on
her
yourself,
attorney.
Are you not?
Here we
I'm
go.
now aware of that.
When did you learn that? Information into the nursing chart, correct?
That is correct.
Situation where she had to defecate, poop on herself, that would be an embarrassing situation, would it not?
That is correct.
And you and the other nurses were the people that would put the information into the nursing chart, correct?
That is correct.
Now, you're aware that Maya Kowalski has testified here that she had to defecate on herself, are you not?
I am now aware of that.
When did you learn that?
I've learned that now. I've been told that she was.
Okay, when were
Told
you
by who?
When I spoke to my attorney yesterday. Yes.
Objection. You are not supposed to be told about what other people testified to. So was she told by her attorneys, or has she been watching this trial?
Okay, and he explained about the what Maya testified to in that regard.
That is correct.
Approach.
The defense is now objecting. And yes, that would be a violation of sequestration, Nick. Yes. And that would be a big problem. Now, apparently nothing happens and they just allow her to keep going. So maybe this girl is so dumb that she blamed it on her attorney, but she's been watching the trial. Although if that were the case and the attorney didn't do it, the judge should have stopped and asked her, "Ma'am, have you been watching coverage of this trial?" And if she did, she needs to say yes. And then everything she said should be stricken and she gets dismissed. But that doesn't happen. So there must be some explanation. There must be some explanation for this. But she's going to get away with it, I guess. That's what you guys told me. I haven't seen this part. This is where I left off. Oh, Ray, you had an interview, a job interview? Well, we will pray that you get it. I'm so glad you had one, and I hope you get the job. It's tough to be without a job. Boy, they look upset over there, don't they? Fat Clark Kent's right up there in the front. He's like, "No, I didn't. I didn't say anything like that." Mm-hmm. Gee, you know what? I bet, hold on, hold your horses. I bet that recovery addict might have heard that sidebar. I'm going to go look at his feed from earlier, and if he did, maybe we can play that little clip of it. I don't want to stream snipe him live, but let's see if he got that. Hold on, I'm checking. Oh, shoot. Oh, it was from this morning, so I won't have to stream snipe it. He's already on part 2. Excellent. So let me go to part 1 from this morning. Let's see if we can get. Is this the right day? Yep. Here we go. Uh, hold on. I'm looking for the sidebar. Hold, please. Here it is. I found it. I found it, and he has it. So hold on. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. All right. Let's see.
To give information.
Let's back up.
And I would note that the question of Attorney Bryant Cliverid, objection here, no objection there. The Shapiro lawyer.
Oh, wait. This could be jury questions. Did they turn on the white noise machine? Okay, here's the other huddle.
I don't know how to do that. Maybe let me know if there's another big.
That is correct. I'll work that.
When did you learn that?
Here it is.
I've learned that now. I've been told that she was.
Okay, when were you told?
He doesn't catch it.
When
Oh,
I spoke to
Okay, while they're talking, let me tell you, I have been drilling down through YouTube settings and things are changing.
no. So he turned on the white noise. Damn it. Well, we tried. We tried. That's too bad. All right. So we won't know what that was until the transcripts come out. Anderson doesn't look too pleased. Come on, move it along.
Were you on the PICU floor?
no,
Which floor were you on?
7 North.
Do you have any photographs of you and Maya together?
No,
Did you have a camera phone over this period of time?
yes,
Have you been able to review any other surveillance videos of Maya?
there was some EEG footage that I reviewed back in several years ago. In this case, it was going to be earlier.
Okay. Do you know why there are no photographs of Maya except during the period of time that risk management said that Kathy Beatty was supposed to take them?
Objection, argument.
Overruled.
I do not know.
How long was Maya there?
October through January.
About 3 months or so?
That is correct.
And how often did you see her?
Almost every shift that I worked,
And how many shifts per week?
approximately 3 per week.
So that's 12. You saw her approximately 50 to 60 times over this period, assuming that you saw her every shift, which I think you testified to. You would have seen her in the fall of 2016 50 to 60 times.
Approximately.
And over that 50 to 60 times, you all were so close and having such a wonderful time together that there isn't a single
That
photograph
sounds so
of you together.
stupid.
True.
That is correct. I'm a nurse, and so taking photos of my patients is not acceptable.
Master Hughes.
Oh, so you're not allowed to take
If Maya
pictures of
Kowalski
your.
had soiled herself, would you have helped change her bedding?
You're
Absolutely.
not supposed
Would
to
you
take
remember
pictures
that?
of your patients.
Absolutely.
Would you have put that in your nursing notes?
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to review all of your nursing notes from the time that you cared for Maya, including while she was in the EEG room?
Yes, sir.
Did you see any evidence of any incident where Maya soiled herself?
I did not.
Thank you again for coming in today. Have a nice
Mr. Anderson, your nursing notes. Did you ever see Kathy Beatty with Maya Kowalski?
Yes.
How often?
I don't recall the amount of times.
A lot, a little, once a week? How often?
I don't recall.
Nothing further. Members of the jury?
Oh, that smile she gives to the jury. That is just miserable. Miserable. All right, let's see. I do not like the way she looks at the jury. It's creepy. Self-serving. I don't know. Could the defense have found any more witnesses that are as off-putting as they have
Be
put
seated,
on the
everybody.
stand?
Members of the jury want to confirm while you were away, you did not correct.
Is it just
And
me?
no one approached you about this case. Okay, I'm going to be able to ask almost all of the questions.
Oh, good. Let's hear the
and
questions.
We
Jury
just saw Ms. Flores
questions.
walk back in.
There we
the
go.
attorneys and I went over these questions outside her presence. Ma'am, Nurse Flores? Okay. Jury has several questions. I'm going to read them to you.
Okay.
Did you know why Maya was moved to room 709?
I believe that's where she was at when she started. I don't recall.
Do you think it was strange for them to tape Maya for 2 days, and why?
I don't recall them taking Maya for 2 days.
No, I'm sorry, taping, videotaping, not take. I apologize if I misspoke. I mean, do you think it was strange for them to videotape Maya for 2 days, and why?
I just remember it was just part of the process. So not necessarily.
Next question, was there a bedside commode in Maya's regular room?
She had a bedside commode, yes, available to her. Bedside commodes, if they need them, they're available to patients.
Okay, so I will not ask the follow-up because it was if not. Was Maya observed using the bedside commode without assistance in the EEG room as she was being video recorded in that room?
To my recollection, we would have helped transfer. She needed help transferring. So we would have helped transfer her to the bedside commode.
Next question. What would occur professionally if a nurse was in the practice of trying to keep in touch with your ex-child patients?
That's creepy.
Normally, that would be something if a family asks for your number, but it's normally not highly looked upon to communicate with your patient outside of the hospital or family.
Did Maya ever writhe in pain from CRPS pain of being picked up to be transferred to the bathroom or commode?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Yes, ma'am. Did Maya ever writhe in pain from CRPS pain of being picked up to be transferred to the bathroom or commode?
I don't recall the writhing in pain. I think she was, from what I remember, she was kind of always reporting that she had pain.
Oh, she was always telling you
Did
she was in
Maya
pain?
have to go to
That's
a place to
interesting.
find God?
I thought she wasn't in
Could she
pain.
speak to God when and where she wanted?
Absolutely.
This is a weird question. Could she
Is
speak
it
to God
acceptable
when and
practice
where
to
she
take personal
wanted?
pictures?
That's a strange question, don't you think? Was she allowed to talk to God when and where she wanted? Who was what? There's no allegation that she wasn't allowed to pray in her own room. Locals, you're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. John Shopkins All Children's Hospital, brought to you by Pfizer and Hasbro. Oh my God, you guys, if you are not on meganfox.locals.com, you are missing out because that's where the most hilarious stuff is. Oh, and now that I'm stopped, I got to get to some of these super chats. I've missed a lot of them. Unhung Heroes, long live sweet baby dumpster Jesus. Thank you for that. Kids are people I can love. We did that one. Unhung Hero, and then Maya stepped in a bee. Yes. M. Shannon, thanks for the super chat. Says, same here, Megan. I can't stand other people's children either. They drive me crazy. I adore my children, though. Thank you. But I think that's perfectly normal. I think that's part of being a parent and being protective over your own children. It just comes naturally. You immediately love those children more than anything you've ever loved on earth, including other people's children, including pets, including everything, including spouses. I mean, it just changes everything about you. Femme Natal says, go back to his question about mom dying. I think I got the wink. We found it. Rosalind, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says she's medicated. Possibly. I don't know. J Rose says, who is this half-baked witness? And Feral Dragon, welcome to the Fox Den. Thanks for being a member. Chickens get eaten. Remember, all right, I think I caught up on those. How you doing over there on Rumble, by the way? We are on, and Penitent Tangent on Rumble sent a Rumble rant that says, I'll quote Shakespeare again, and thus I clothe my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen out of Holy Writ, and seem a saint when most I play the devil. It's so that is so accurate for this trial. We should quote it every day. We should put it on a plaque. We should carve it in stone and hang it on the walls of Johns Hopkins Hospital because that's it. That describes them exactly.
Pictures of patients on your personal phone.
It's not acceptable practice to do that.
You were one of Maya's floor nurses. Was your shift the day or night shift at that time?
So at that time, I actually was night shift for a portion of it, and then I switched over to day shift. So I was night shift in October, and then I believe in November, around November, early to middle of November, I was day shift.
Her voice is getting softer and softer.
During that time, how much contact did you have in your duties with, we'll first start with Kathy Beatty.
We would talk to her if there was any question about anything socially related. So
What does
I don't
that
recall
mean?
the exact amount of times I would speak to her.
How much contact did you have with Sally Smith?
I don't recall personally having contact with Sally Smith.
With respect to Kathy Beatty and Sally Smith, were you seeking out them to give information about Maya, or were they seeking you out to ask about Maya?
Can you repeat that question?
You heard him.
With respect to Kathy Beatty and Sally Smith, were you seeking them out to give information to them about Maya, or were they seeking you out to ask about Maya?
If I had questions, I would seek out Kathy Beatty, which was the social worker.
Mr. Hughes, do you have anything further? Mr. Anderson?
Photos not acceptable. What about nicknames? Like, did you assign a particular child a nickname like Ketamine Girl, things like that?
No,
That was frowned upon, was it not?
I don't ever recall her being named something else.
As to the photos, though, certainly you could not show photos outside the hospital, but in the hospital, for instance, to put up on a child's door or otherwise to use in some type of festival or other thing with permission, you could use those, could you not?
I have not been in that case, but I believe so.
Okay. And even with that, you haven't seen any photos of you and Maya or remember any photos of you or Maya being taken. True?
Correct.
You have no training really in CRPS pain. Is that true?
That is correct.
She answered it, Mr.
Oh, she did. I'm sorry. But Maya was always reporting to you that she was in pain?
I would have to look through the charting to give you an exact answer to that.
Sure. But your off the cuff answer was that she was always telling you she was in pain. True?
That is correct.
About this video, now you cared about this young lady, my client, and you wanted to make sure.
All right,
that
hang
she
on a
stayed healthy,
second.
happy, right? Is that
Absolutely.
true? Okay. So
I've got this spinny
when
wheel.
whomever took her, and by the way, do you know?
Hang on
who
a second.
took her
I'll be
down
right
to this
back. I'll be right back.
surveillance room?
I'm not
Be
sure
right
what you're
back.
talking about.
Okay, I just had to force quit Chrome. Chrome got stuck. That was weird. I really don't know what my computer problems are, and I don't want to think about it. Okay, so are we in of this? Because it's not that great. There's nothing else. The most interesting thing we already saw in that woman's testimony. I mean, did anybody think that that was helpful to the hospital in any way? I mean, I know if you were watching another stream, they would all be like, "Oh yes, that was just a wonderful witness for the hospital, and we just don't know how the plaintiff is going to overcome that." But I didn't find her convincing at all. at all.
Is an EEG room.
Okay, but her regular room was not 709, correct?
Oh yeah, this is kind of
All right, so
interesting.
pardon me.
Hold on.
Are you testifying that Maya was in this special EEG room through her entire stay on the 7th floor? Or was she moved to another room which had EEG equipment?
She spent so much time with Maya, she doesn't even know that she was only in that room for 48 hours. That she has no clue. She thinks she was in that room the entire time.
For that 48 hours.
I don't recall the EEG. The 709 is an EEG room.
Okay, but her regular room was not 709, correct?
I believe her regular room was 709. I don't know if she was in a room prior, but that's the room I remember her being in.
Okay. And have you ever seen any other video other than this?
Scrody
48-hour one?
McBooger Balls, you're having a bad morning? Well, I don't like to hear that. I'm so sorry that you're having a bad morning. I'm glad to see you, though. Maybe your morning will get a little better now that we're all together. And I hope it does get better, because you usually give us so many laughs. So I'm sorry that you're having a bad morning. I hope we can make you laugh.
No.
Do you remember it because it's the room number? That it was the same room? Or do you visually remember it being the same room you walked into every time with Maya?
I remember it being the same room that I walked into. Okay.
Anything further, Mr. Anderson?
No, you don't. No.
Mr. Hughes?
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, defense, your next, may this witness be excused? We're gonna go for round 2 here.
That's it for the morning. Nothing from my end.
Can she be released from all subpoenas?
Yes, Your Honor. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
You're free.
Oh my God, locals.
Now, defense team, what's next?
Oh my God.
Defense Exhibit 3178A.
Oh, this is
You may
so
proceed.
good.
It's in evidence.
Yes.
This is so good, you guys. I'm going to try and show you, but I think this is what shut my computer down last time, was me trying to share this. I can't open locals. Oh, this is more. Okay. So then they show the jury more emails from Beata to Beata. And there's this thing about how, oh, well, I accidentally I was carrying Maya, and I got caught. I almost fell, and although it's from Maya's perspective. So mommy was carrying me, and she almost fell backwards, and my leg got caught between the sink and her, and it started out my day bad, and I got a CRPS flare up. And I mean, it sounds pretty awful, but it sounds like an accident. So I don't know why they're putting this. Again, their only purpose for putting any of this in is to smear Beata and make her look bad and like a bad mother. But none of this is about her. And I wish the judge did not allow them to do this and put this in, because I don't see how it's relevant. This case is not about Beata. It just isn't. It's about Johns Hopkins and what they did to Maya. And continuing to allow them to put in this so-called evidence in her personal journal of things that she did that went wrong. Okay, locals, you are absolutely killing me. The Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. The memes are so good. I can't share all of them. If you want to see the memes, you need to sign up. Sign up on Locals, meganfox.locals.com. $5 a month. Use promo code Maya, and that will get you a free month. You can check it out for a month and quit if you don't like it. I don't care. We have so much fun over there just to get in that chat and be sharing the memes and making the memes. It's hilarious.
Well, then take it down if that's not what you're
No,
doing.
this is what I meant to do.
All right, let's skip forward.
I saw that.
So that was that letter. Now they're going to put on this guy. I didn't
Trying to make her
understand
happy.
the purpose of
Yeah.
him. So this
on the-
is the only thing that's interesting about this guy to me is that he is somebody that they paid, I guess, to transport Maya from the hospital somewhere. And I don't know if it was court or he's going to say. Yeah, he took her to the courthouse. Now, you guys probably don't know this, but in my years of researching Child Protective Services, they actually contract with transportation companies There are actual transportation. Oh, this is her uncle? This is her uncle. Okay, so they had him take her. That's fine. But it brought to mind this weird thing that I know about that CPS does. They will sometimes contract people to transport kids in the system from one place to another. And I find it highly unsafe. Like, why is it that the caseworker isn't doing the transporting? They do the actual, they're actually just like hiring some outside stranger to do it. Okay, this is Jack's, no, Beata's brother or Jack's brother? Do we know which uncle this is? Okay. But that's just a weird thing that CPS does sometimes.
What kind of things would you do when you visited Maya at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital?
We would play games in the arcade. She would draw, make things, walk around with the wheelchair always.
The arcade games, what kind of, strike that, in terms of the arcade games, would Maya use her hands and arms for those arcade games?
Yes, we were trying, hopefully, by getting her out of the bed, that she'd get some kind of exercise. So just laying there.
I think you mentioned some arts and crafts, maybe some drawing. Did you have the occasion to observe Maya doing any type of artistic work at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital?
Yes.
What kind of art did she do? Was she a sculptor or painter or drawer?
I don't know if she was making things in the classroom out of putting stuff together, gluing it, whatever.
Do you ever watch her drawing?
Possible, I can't remember. I know she's probably a good artist.
Did you recall her having any difficulty with performing these arcade games or working on arts and crafts?
No, because they're pretty simple. I mean, pretty simple games or whatever. They don't have nothing there strenuous. I mean, with air hockey, she'd sit in her chair and push the puck back and forth. No.
Why was it that you came to be the person who was going to take Maya to Dr. Duncan at the courthouse?
I have no idea why I was picked, but I did it because I was picked.
Okay. Do you remember doing that?
Of course. I just told you I did it.
Oh, well, why don't you describe to me what you recall about your involvement in taking Maya up to Dr. Duncan?
I was the one who was able to take her. What details do you want to know?
Did you talk to Dr. Duncan?
No, not that I can recall. I just know I brought her to the courthouse, released her to Dr. Duncan, went and waited, and I took her back to the hospital.
Okay. Did you talk to Maya about her time with Dr. Duncan?
No.
Did you talk to Maya at all on the drive back to the hospital?
If anything, Maya was very happy to be in the car with the windows down, and I just know that she was happy to have fresh air. I don't get involved with the personal stuff. I could pretty much, if anything, just try to make her happy at that moment.
Did Maya seem happy during that drive with you?
Yes.
Was she complaining of pain?
No.
At some point, I think, didn't you also take Maya from, I believe, maybe either the courthouse or the hospital to Clearwater for a consult with Dr. Hanna? Do you recall anything about that?
I do remember going to a doctor's office. I don't know, was I alone or was somebody with me? I don't remember the trip, but I do remember taking her to a doctor's office.
Okay. And do you know approximately how long that drive was?
I do not.
Did you go into the doctor's office, into the consult room and observe the assessment?
I don't remember. I think I would be just sitting in the waiting room.
How did Maya seem on that drive over to the doctor?
Well, I don't think there's any issues because I would remember that, but no.
What about when you were returning back from the doctor's office back to the hospital? Do you recall any issues on that drive?
No.
Did Maya complain of pain?
No.
Was she crying?
Not that I can recall, no.
I have no idea why they called that, except for no pain. I don't know what that had to do with anything.
Extracurricular activities does Maya engage in?
And then this is totally irrelevant. He goes over all the same things we already know.
After the release.
This is about what does she do? She's in extracurriculars at school. She's the president of this. She's the president of that. She goes to Dr. Kirkpatrick again when she got released, and he told her to get in the pool as much as possible. That's all that he testifies to. What does her workout consist of? and he doesn't know because she gets up at 4 in the morning to do it. She works out at home, and she has not had any evident signs of CRPS at the time of this deposition in 2019. It sounded like her CRPS went into remission for a while. Thank God that she got a break from it. And they're going to make a big deal out of that. So now they're playing
The
Maya
whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I swear.
saying basically the
Good
same
morning,
thing.
Maya. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
And so PE was one of your electives in 8th grade?
Yeah.
Did you pick PE this time, or was it picked for you, for lack of a better term?
I picked PE.
And what kind of activities were you participating in PE class in 8th grade?
8th grade, I was participating in everything that all the other students were. So football, any type of sport we did, all the games, and so on.
That's what I was getting at. So you don't recall having any flare-ups in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade?
Correct. No.
Have you had a flare-up since you graduated from 8th grade and you're getting ready to head into high school?
No.
So why don't you do me a favor and walk me through a typical day of Maya Kowalski's life over this summer, let's say, starting with your 4:30 a.m. workout regimen. Walk me through your workouts, what you do for hobbies, who you play with, and all the way through to when you go to bed at night.
I wake up.
Keep in mind that this poor girl gets up at 4 a.m. every day to work out. And why does she do that? Because if she doesn't, she won't be able to walk again. What teenager do you know gets up at 4 a.m. to work out and walk 5 miles? She walks 5 miles every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. Unless you knew that if you didn't do it, you were going to be in a wheelchair again, there's no way you would have a teenager who was motivated to do that. No way. This is the thing that everyone's missing is like, oh, look what she can do. She can walk 5 miles. No, no, no. She has to walk 5 miles. If she doesn't walk 5 miles a day, she'll be right back in the wheelchair. Scary.
Up at 4:30. I immediately go on my walk, which lasts normally 1 hour and like an hour and a half to up to an hour and 45 minutes. It just depends on the day. I come inside, I set out my yoga mat and I do some yoga. After I finish my yoga, I take a shower, get ready for the day, eat breakfast, and that's when my day really begins. So I will check my email, take out my dog. I will do the dishes, do the laundry, put away dishes, put away laundry. I will make myself lunch. I will practice piano for an hour. I try to do that every single day just to get in a routine. I really enjoy reading. That's something I love to do. So anytime I have leftover after piano, I like to just relax a little bit. And throughout the day, I'll take out my dog. Obviously, I don't just take her out once, but
Totally not a Russian
she
bot.
doesn't have a schedule in terms
Sounds
of when
like
she
a
has to use the
horrible
bathroom.
person.
And I start winding down at 5 o'clock. I have dinner with my family, and I pray, read some more, and I ultimately go to bed around. I start getting ready around 7, which.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. You just reminded me. Someone said toe thumbs in the Rumble stream. I have got to do a stream soon where I read to you the weird comments that I get on my YouTube videos, because now we have a lot of new subscribers, and so it's going to happen that I disappoint a ton of people. And I've been laughing my head off at some of the comments that I've been getting, and one of the best ones I read this morning, and it was, I wish you would take out that part in your intro that talks about toe thumbs. You know, some of us have a genetic disorder, and it's very upsetting. Ma'am, if you are the person in the chat with toe thumbs, I just want to tell you, I have nothing against toe thumbs. Toe thumbs, there's nothing wrong with toe thumbs. And that was a joke about the other Megan Fox, because there is this it's just so funny, you can't tell jokes. People get upset. But the other Megan Fox reportedly has toe thumbs. People talk about this. It's like an urban myth or something. I don't know if it is real. I've seen pictures. And her hands, her thumbs look like toes. But the thing is that it became a joke on this channel, because I didn't even know this, by the way, about her until I had my own YouTube channel, and the chat schooled me in the toe thumbs. Yeah, what are toe thumbs? They're thumbs that look like toes. They're just really short with like really square nails. And like I'd never even noticed. I didn't know this about the other Megan Fox. So then I had to look it up and learn it. But it was like a seriously big internet joke. And so whenever my name would come up, people would ask to see my thumbs because apparently she has toe thumbs. And I didn't know this was like a genetic condition or whatever. So leave it to the one person who has this genetic condition, who takes it as a personal insult that I fleetingly mentioned toe thumbs in the intro, and now I have to take it out to appease the one person out of like a million people who has toe thumbs. You guys, I'm gonna have to do a whole stream with the weird comments that I've been getting.
Sounds early, but I wake up at
It's
4:30,
hilarious.
so I try to get enough sleep. I don't sleep very well, and I fall asleep 8:30, 9.
So it seems like piano, if you had to rank your hobbies and interests outside of school, is piano right near the top?
Oh yes, piano is number one.
In terms of your workouts, I know you said you did a little bit of yoga. Do you do the yoga after
If you want to know what toe thumbs are, just Google Megan Fox toe thumbs, and you will find a million pictures on Google. I promise.
the workouts? Are those kind of two separate workouts, or is yoga part of your 4:30 a.m. workout regimen?
They're two separate workouts.
All right, so
Okay.
this is
Walk
super
me through what you
boring.
do when you work out at 4:30.
This is super boring. We learned nothing here other than her workout routine. Okay, she walks around. It's 5 miles. This is what she does. 4:30 in the morning. She's walking faster. Does some intense cardio. She's not on any medications except for some allergy meds. 2 medications, and then Flonase and an allergy med, Claritin and Flonase. Well, isn't that great? She's off the medications. Well, good for her. She's not seeing anybody outside of Dr. Wassenaar or people who see Dr. Wassenaar or who work with Dr. Wassenaar for her CRPS. And she says she doesn't have any CRPS pain currently. She says she has not had any flare-ups since 2018. That's what she says in this deposition. Now they're going to play the next deposition. And here we go.
Are you on any medicine right now? You in any pain right now?
Right now I'm fine.
Are you on any medicine right now?
I have this one pill and it's for sleeping. I take Claritin, but I can't think of anything else right now, no, other than my acne medication.
You play the piano?
Yes,
So activities, it sounds like you're still doing ice skating.
correct.
Okay. Any other physical activities that you do?
No, I mean, I work out, but no other sports.
So working out is different for everybody. What kind of things do you do when you work out?
It just depends how I'm feeling that day. I mean, sometimes I lift weights. I like cardio more than anything. Lifting weights isn't really my thing, but I do it periodically. I swim. I like to go on bike rides, and I really like walking.
Fair to say that you're doing better now from a pain standpoint than you were in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you're doing better from a pain standpoint than you were in 2016?
Yeah.
Your Honor, now we would like to publish what's in evidence, a photograph that's a defense exhibit 3138-2.
Okay.
And we'll publish what's in evidence.
All right, now here comes all the pictures that they wanted in to show the jury that, oh, look, she's living her best life. She's perfectly fine. Look at this staged photograph. No reason. Oh, look, she has a boyfriend. Oh, what is that? Oh, look, she can wear a sexy dress. We must not have done anything bad to her when she was 10.
I think it's time for our morning break.
All
Members
right.
of the jury, this is probably going to be closer to a 15-minute
Moving
break.
on.
Carol, can you hear me okay?
Dr. Chopra comes back, and actually nothing happens in this. Anderson tries to ask Chopra, is ketamine addictive? The judge doesn't allow it because there's an objection, and Shapiro says he already testified to this. We don't need to rehash it. So the jury just has to remember that Dr. Chopra said ketamine wasn't addictive. He doesn't really have anything else to add, and then his computer freezes just like mine, and they don't get him back as far as I know. Then they go to another break. Nothing really happens. Oh, no, they go to lunch. And then they came back from lunch. So let's see who's on the stand now. Dr. Corcoran, by the way, is supposed to testify again today. Dr. Corcoran. I'm excited about that.
Job performance evaluation.
Looks like they're fighting about evidence
It
back
all
here.
goes to.
But we're going to catch up with Jack on the stand. I can't get into, even though I love the fights on about evidence, I don't have time for it today. I literally have to get off this stream in 45 minutes. So we're going to get as far as we can. And if I have time and I'm not too tired after work tonight, I will come back and do a late night stream and we will watch the rest and catch up on what we missed.
Investigation the accounts of this case. Is that correct? And no one approached you. Is that correct? Okay, we're still in the rebuttal case. Plaintiffs.
Nick says that Chopra called in to finish his testimony. Was there anything interesting about it? I feel like I didn't hear anything new. And so I don't think we need to go over it right now.
State your name, please.
I mean, okay, let's talk about this for a second. So is it concerning to you that Maya did not have any relapses for the 2 years after she left the hospital and appears to have gotten better? Is that concerning to you that like she's walking, like her mom's gone and now she's not on any medications except for, well, although here's what the jury's not being told. They're not being told that she isn't allowed to be on any of those medications. She is court ordered to not have ketamine. She's court ordered to not have pain medicines. So, as far as I know. So, she had no choice. She had no choice but to get better without pain management, which I think we've already talked about extensively here. Like the people with CRPS can get better with therapy, with physical therapy and occupational therapy, but they need pain control. And she wasn't allowed to have that. So she had to push through the pain to get to where she is. And that she could be in remission, that it could be in remission. And when they're that young, they sometimes can go into remission and stay there for a long time. That's what we were told. Purple Pro says, I would be concerned if she was still addicted to Shopkins. Me too. She probably didn't even like them. She was probably like, oh my God, they keep giving me the Shopkins. And it's too many Shopkins, like, why do they think I love these things so much? You know how adults do that sometimes? They get it in their heads that a kid likes something and then they buy them that thing for years and years. Femnatal says, why do you have to work tonight? Can't you quit already? No, I can't. If I want my pinched nerve to stay gone, to stay unpinched, I really need to be moving around more than what I have been. So it's good that I got called in. Don't worry.
Ms. Kowalski, and during the defense case, there appeared to be an issue over Sally Smith and your interaction. At the time that you first met, who turns out to be Sally Smith, will you please tell the jury what you were doing?
Objection, Your Honor. This is not rebuttal.
Yes, it is.
Overruled. You can answer that question.
There was some testimony that we heard from Dr. Sally Smith, and
Wait a minute. Are we in rebuttal?
okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
This is the beginning of the plaintiff's rebuttal case.
That was asked.
No problem. I was in the room with Maya. She was getting a bowel clean out. She was having a lot of feces everywhere. The nurse that was in the room, she was extremely helpful, handed me washcloths, towels, linen for the bed. During that time, the nurse walked out, and then in walked a woman with a lab coat on. And
This is covered in.
You can finish it. And then
Shut up, Shapiro.
What were
I'm
you?
not, I wasn't done.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
What were you physically doing, Jack, when she walked through the door?
I was cleaning up feces.
Were you standing up on your knees, on your back? Where were you?
Again, Your Honor, respectfully, this was all covered in the case in chief.
You can answer the question.
Thank you. I was cleaning up Maya. I was cleaning the floor, just cleaning up everything, and along with taking her and putting her on the commode. But most of the time, it was too late.
All right. And in terms of the questioning, did she speak enough, the person who came in the white lab coat, so that later, by visual and voice, you were able to identify Sally Smith as that person?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Oh, shut up.
At first, there was no communication. In walked the person. and then eventually started asking questions with a raspy voice, like a cigarette voice.
Right, and
Cigarette
what kind of
voice.
issue, without going into great detail, were these questions unusual from what you would expect from a doctor?
I thought it was an unusual.
Rephrase.
Well, I do believe there was testimony on this, so we really
Yes,
need to
sir.
move on.
I can move on. There was testimony in the record and some exhibits about your wife Beata explaining online in the first person for Maya. Can you tell us why that happened?
Yes, after seeing some of these notes or the emails, I realized this is probably why she was doing it. I'm from a family of eight children. My mom made a baby book for all of us. And in the baby books, it starts out, I got my first haircut, or I did this, or I crawled on such and such date. When Beata and I got married, she seen my baby book and she thought that was an awesome idea. We got a coin from the year we were born and all different things in there. But after seeing the emails that Beata was doing, that reminded me of why she's probably doing that. She did baby books for the children too. Same way, I lost my first tooth on such and such date, things like that. She's talking for the child. And that's how my mom did it as well.
All right. Now, there's been testimony on direct examination in the defense case of whether Dr. Hanna referred Maya over to Johns Hopkins or to the Johns Hopkins ER, or whether you did. Can you tell the jury about that day and explain what happened?
Yes, I was the one that chose to go to the emergency room. Nobody told me to go there. I was in the Ronald McDonald House, which is on the grounds of Johns Hopkins property. I chose to go there. Nobody told me to go there. That was the closest facility, and that's the most severe. I've seen my daughter with the abdominal pains. I don't know if you recall the week before, she had pains and I drove her there, but it was nothing like this time. And I'm the one that chose to take her there.
Very good. Now, if we could bring up to 277-253, please. 253A. A, excuse me. All right. Do you see that there?
I do.
All right. Did there come a time when you directed your attorney to advise Johns Hopkins through the psychologist Jennifer Katzenstein about your concerns over Kathy Beatty?
That is correct, as you can see here.
And then in this, was your attorney stating what you had told them must be informed to Johns Hopkins?
Yes.
And through this period of time, did your wife, Beata, was she, at lack of a better term, in on this? Was she participating such that she knew what Kathy Beatty was doing?
She did know. Her attorneys also represented on this letter.
Okay. And so here you were advising about the fact that Ms. Beatty wanted to be on every supervised telephone call regardless.
Objection leading.
Sustained.
That is correct.
Yeah, well, I sustained it.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
I have to
Sorry.
It's okay.
ask a different question.
There was also with Dr. Smith a statement that Maya or you in that same feces-driven episode that Maya refused to be evaluated, or you refused Maya to be evaluated. Why was that?
Objection, it's not rebuttal.
It is.
Oh, you can answer that one.
Yes, there would have been no way for her to be evaluated at that time. Like I said, she had projectile feces coming or just going everywhere, and there was no attempt for the doctor to make an evaluation.
And then finally, there were some snippets of depositions about your daughter's condition. Can you give the jury an idea about the variability of Maya's condition based on what was represented in those videos?
First of all, myself, I had 5 depositions. I believe Maya had 5 as well. So there's more to the story than what you've seen. She had a lot of bad days. Those little clips there, I'm sure, were the good days.
Your witness.
Okay, the only thing that I don't like about that answer is if there were other things, if they didn't tell the story, then the plaintiff should have used those other clips of those depositions in their case. And also, did she make a mistake then when she told Shapiro that she didn't have any relapses in the entire 2018 and entire 2019? I mean, I guess that's possible that she made mistakes in saying that. If Jack is saying that she had bad days, maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't consider bad days relapses. I don't know. But if it didn't tell the whole story, that's something that the plaintiff should have done better at bringing out. Not that I believe the defense. I do not believe the dick defense. Okay, just saying. There's not even a small part of me that believes the dick defense.
Just one more question. You didn't really ever photograph her or video her on days when she was huddled in her room. Is that true?
Oh, speaking of locals, your next meme project, we should make a meme for the dick defense rests. And maybe put a couple of eggplants in bed, snoring or drooling or something. The dick defense rests.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes, thank you. Briefly, Ron. Good afternoon, Mr. Kowalski.
Good afternoon.
Just wanted to ask you a follow-up question about Dr. Hanna. Do you remember him? You don't remember him referring you or Maya to the all children's emergency room?
No, I left Dr. Hannah's office with Maya. I took her to get something to eat before we went to the Ronald McDonald house.
Okay. Can we bring up what's in evidence as 3028001?
Yeah, drooling. Alondra, I want the eggplants in bed drooling.
Take a moment to read it, Mr. Kowalski. I'll represent to you that the FSI is Dr. Hanna's office, and that's as a prescription signed by him.
Okay.
The previous day, he was writing a referral for a nutrition consult, asking you to take Maya somewhere to get her nutrition checked out. Isn't that true?
I picked Maya up from his facility. Mom was with Maya at that time.
So if I understand your testimony, Mrs. Kowalski was told by Dr. Hanna the previous day to take Maya to the hospital. You weren't at this appointment?
I cannot say that's true or not, but I'm just telling you, I did not personally get this.
And I guess in fairness to you,
that would have been 10-6 that I had her. 10-5, Beata was with Maya.
I got it. So this prescription, this referral was given to your wife the previous day. You weren't at this appointment.
I don't know if she received it, but that, 10-5, that would have been her.
Let me just ask you, turning to brighter news, just a couple photographs. Let's see if we can pick some dates on these because these are not dated, sir. 3138-0002. Do you know approximately when this was taken?
I would say May, I would say somewhere in the May of 23.
Okay, May to June of 2023.
That is correct.
Okay, let's just
tell me, sir.
3138-0005.
How dare your daughter look beautiful and smile? Where did she get the nerve?
Sir, do you know
to
approximately
look
when this was
happy?
That might have been a little before, but I would say 2023. I couldn't give you a month.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
To the best of your recollection, 2023?
Yeah, somewhere in that time.
Okay. Let me ask you about 3138-0007. And maybe you can enlarge it a little bit. Do you know when this was taken?
That'd be a good question for Maya.
Okay. Should I stop? I don't want to bother you.
Why are you
is this one
asking?
coming 2022?
Oh
That
my
I couldn't
God.
tell you.
Okay.
My husband would have no idea what year or date, or either would I, of what pictures my kids take. Do you know that kids have their own social media accounts and they have their own phones and they take their own photos? We're not the ones taking pictures of our kids anymore. They're taking pictures of themselves and their friends are taking pictures. I don't know what days they happened. It's a
Let me ask you
stupid
a couple
question,
more,
Shapiro.
34041. Do you know when this was taken?
That would have been this year, homecoming.
Okay, like within the last week?
You would have to ask her the date, but it was very early, just not too long ago.
Okay, and let me ask you about one more, 34042. If you can expand that a little bit.
There's a date on the photo,
Self-explanatory
Shapiro.
on the bottom there.
Okay.
Homecoming 2023.
Was that within the last month, like during this trial?
Yes.
Okay. Only because it's been asked before, but does Maya look happy in those photos too?
You need to ask her these questions.
Oh my God. Does she look happy in these photos? Oh, was she happy at homecoming? Oh, her homecoming happened during the trial? Well, good for her. She got to go do something fun during this horrible trial.
It's because just by looking at her and saying she's happy, I don't want to speak for her because I'm not the one, but she could explain this much more in detail.
Okay, I appreciate your time, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Just one simple question. There were a couple of photographs taken by a professional photographer. Is that right?
That is correct.
Nothing further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, do any of you have any further questions or any questions?
Yeah, Maya's not supposed to have a normal 17-year-old existence, according to the defense. She's not allowed to have any good days. She's not allowed to go to homecoming. She's not allowed to smile for a picture. She is wearing more makeup today than she normally has. I noticed. Maybe she's feeling a little better. You know, she's such a pretty girl. What they did to her is really terrible. I mean, are we supposed to, if we are to believe the Dick defense, we're supposed to believe that she has been lying about this for over 5 years. Just to what? Stick. Oh, Dr. Goodhair is back. Dr. Corcoran. Woohoo. Everybody give it up for Dr. Corcoran. I didn't want to miss this. Ah. Dr. Corcoran with the gregarious Greek goddess wife, Patty.
Of course, I
We
hope
love
the
him.
jury remembers you. You previously testified as the hospital management expert for the Kowalskis.
I did.
And your experience.
Hold on. So we're not in rebuttal yet. The defense called Jack. Wait, the defense? Oh, no, this is Whitney. Sorry, we are in rebuttal.
It's briefly includes
Or as Jeff would say, rebuttal. This is Whitney.
as about the treating physician, and then after some time you became involved in hospital management through HCA.
That's correct.
And your time with HCA, you served as chief medical officer for approximately 10 years.
I was a facility chief medical officer for about 5 years, a division chief medical officer for 3 years, and that was overseeing 2 states, 8 hospitals, and
he is now
35
consulting
plus or
for
minus
free
sites of care.
because he believes in this client.
All right, so we
He
brought you
believes
back
in
to
Maya.
discuss some particular issues that were raised in the defense's case. Have you had an opportunity, although you haven't been in the courtroom, to observe the testimony of certain witnesses?
Yes, I have.
Have you observed, did you have a chance to see or review the testimony of, for example, witness Mr. Anderson, the hospital management expert from the defense?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you have the opportunity to review or observe the testimony of Dr. Paladis?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you have the opportunity finally to review the testimony of...
Hey, guess what? Dr. Corcoran actually reads files. He actually reviewed them and he read everything in them. And there isn't anything they're going to ask him that he doesn't know, because that's what an expert does. And he's not even being paid $400 an hour right now. He's doing it for free. He said he would come back for free. He said he would pay his own way because he believes in Maya.
Dr. Ginny Dolan, who testified yesterday afternoon.
Yes, I did.
And as we go along, and I don't think this will take very long, but as we go along, if there are other witnesses that the defense put on that are pertinent to your testimony, please let us know. Just let us know you've heard their testimony as well.
Of course.
You guys are killing me.
I want to start with what the jury has seen on several occasions, and I'll put it back up momentarily, which is the corrective action notice for Catherine Beatty at Exhibit 2278-036. And Mr. Reyes, can you put up Exhibit 2809 side by side?
What is this? Have we read this? Kathy displayed some unprofessional behavior. Oh, this is this is Kathy Beatty's review.
So
I
on
love
the,
it when
on
Whitney
the left
does
side of
the
your screen there,
talking.
Dr. Corcoran, do you recognize the corrective action notice for Ms. Beatty and the date of the infraction of November 9th?
She got 2 stars. Manager's rating 2 stars.
I do recognize this, yes, sir.
No, that's not the 2809 on the right side.
New testimony or rehash?
There's a question pending at this moment. Did I miss the question? Just, if you're gonna ask a question, ask a question. I'm sorry if I missed it.
I don't think I had a question. I was talking to Mr. Reyes at the moment because can you pull down 2809 there for a second? That's not, 2809 was marked. This was what was marked as 2809. Huh?
2 stars.
While we're doing
Says
that,
Sheridan.
do you recall witness Mr. Anderson testifying to Ms. Beatty's performance evaluations?
I do.
And the testimony was that she had met and exceeded expectations, correct?
Objection, leading.
What was witness Mr. Anderson's testimony on Catherine Beatty's performance evaluations?
Objection, Your Honor. He's just asking to regurgitate testimony.
How about what did you agree or disagree with in his testimony about her review? I love Dr. Corcoran. Look at his face. You know, I'm sorry, but the plaintiff just has better witnesses. They're just more likable. Look, Dr. Chopra made everybody laugh all the time. Dr. Corcoran just makes everybody feel comfortable and warm and fuzzy. Everyone loves Dr. Corcoran. He's just got a real genuine kind of, appearance. Ellie says she kind of wants to play with his hair. I mean, well, who doesn't? Let's witness his life. Well, but he does. He seems like the kind of guy you want to hang out with at Thanksgiving, right? Don't you want to go to his house for Thanksgiving? Can you imagine how fun it is there? Chandler Remington, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Megan Fox. Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I only have a half an hour left, but we're watching Dr. Corcoran, Dr. Goodhair. And we love this witness. The plaintiffs just have better witnesses. They're just more likable. They're warmer. All the defense witnesses seem like they have a dark soul problem. Like almost every single one.
They're like a little coven of ugly witches. They're all kind of caricatures.
So bizarre.
I've been loving the memes. The locals memes have been the best. So funny.
I know, right? Did you see the one this morning who said she was the hands and feet of Jesus? Like, these people have serious problems. Did you see her?
I did not. No. No, I missed that.
It.
I've been cleaning up around the house. So I'm totally just
later.
jumping in. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have you ever seen hair like this before? It's so good.
Did you
No,
participate
but I'm impressed.
in disciplinary actions of certain people that reported to you as chief medical officer?
Yes, I did.
And you're familiar with the progressive disciplinary policies that are in place within hospitals?
Objection, are we vague regarding who?
Yes, progressive elevation.
And so on the right side of your screen, we now have the corrective action notice for Catherine Beatty. And on the left side of your screen, we have the corrective action policy for Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital during the relevant time, during Mike Walsey's admission and during Catherine Beatty's discipline.
Your objection to foundation and predicate may have ordered the witness.
You made one. So, Mr. Whitney, let Mr. Hunter take over the lecture.
Yes, Your Honor.
Rumble says, I bet he carves a mean turkey. We were just saying we would like to go to Dr. Corcoran's house for Thanksgiving. It feels like it would be a fun time.
Prior testimony,
totally.
You served as chief medical officer at Brandon Hospital, correct?
Brandon Regional Hospital.
Brandon Regional Hospital. I'm sorry. It's right up the street. I was called Brandon Hospital. Right up the street to me, I should say. And if I understand correctly, as chief medical officer, you had purview over the medical staff office, medical staff, and the quality assurance, correct?
Those were some of the areas that I mentioned. I also mentioned CPOE.
I know we're a little behind. Should I speed
I
up?
also was the executive in charge of graduate medical education.
Are we on direct?
No, this is rebuttal.
Okay.
So the plaintiff's lawyer is asking the questions.
And then when you became
Oh no, that's Hunter.
regional
So
division,
he's
chief medical officer.
recrossing or whatever.
You were over, you were like a chief medical officer for the division over the other chief medical officers, correct?
And their teams, yes.
And their teams. But you did not have authority over human resources.
Not the HR department, as I explained, not the HR department.
Okay. So as far as
All right, we're skipping a proffer
employees
so I
and
don't miss
their-
it because I have to go. I'll come back and watch this later if there's anything we missed. So they're going to proffer because they're introducing some kind of evidence that we haven't seen before. So they need to find out what he's going to say. And I want to skip to that because I hear
Was
that
engaging in-
it's fire. So
Sounds good.
let's do that. I don't know what the evidence is. I'm learning it as we go here, but they were fighting over it. They sent the jury out of the room and something came up while he was testifying, and now they're going to do
2
proffer.
minutes ago, I'd asked you.
Okay.
That you
Sounds
reviewed
important.
Kathy Beatty's personnel file, and you were, in general, you were familiar that she was counseled on 2 previous occasions. And having looked now at the policy of Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, does it appear that on neither of the 2 previous occasions were her disciplinary actions filed in her personnel file or documented in any way?
I've not been provided any documentation to suggest that they were written up as is clearly required by the supervisor to make a record of the verbal counseling. So if they exist, I've not seen them.
All right. I want to look at number 4 at the bottom there. It talks about an administrative leave being authorized to allow for a cool down period. In your experience with HCA, is a cool down period appropriate where an employee on the medical staff has documented anger management issues?
Overruled. It's proffer.
Overruled on all those cases.
Overruled on all of it, Hunter.
I think a cool down period can be very helpful when emotions are escalated.
And have you seen in reviewing a personnel file any indication that Ms. Beatty was subject to administrative leave or a cool down period?
Not that I'm aware of.
Turning to the next page of the policy, number 5. I just reference you for a second. Number 5, it says termination may be authorized after the preceding steps have completed, except for gross misconduct. So keeping that in mind, let's look down at E, which talks about gross misconduct. And seeing that, and then turning, if you could put up the next page, which continues with E. The top one includes engaging in fights or indecent, immoral, or abusive conduct while on All Children's Hospital's property. Having reviewed the corrective action notice of Catherine Beatty, and based on your experience, would you characterize what Ms. Beatty was disciplined for here as either engaging in a fight or abusive conduct?
Compound bleeding,
Overruled.
I guess it is a compound question, so why don't you break it up?
Break it up. Okay, fine.
All right.
Wow.
Same predicate. You've reviewed these documents. Would you characterize Ms. Beatty's actions as described in this corrective action notice as abusive conduct?
Just give me a moment to review the specific language.
And if you need to see
can you
the statement of specific misconduct,
yes, sir. Thank
top
you.
box.
Thank you.
He's going to be precise. This is what he does for a living. He runs hospitals.
Thank you very much.
She's the cash me outside girl.
Clearly, the witnesses were made uncomfortable by the situation. As they stated in the report, the witnesses reported that they asked for them to take it to another location and reported that Kathy was very loud and aggressive. I don't know how their HR department would define abusive, but that's kind of has been used before, threading the needle. I don't know if it meets the definition of abusive or not, but it's certainly aggressive as documented in the.
All right. To be
report.
fair, if I understand your testimony, what is documented in her corrective action notice may not rise to the level of gross misconduct. Is that your testimony?
It is.
All right.
It's darn close, but
Understood.
may not meet the threshold.
Understood. Let's talk about the Joint Commission and the role a Joint Commission plays in reviewing a hospital's performance.
Objection, Your Honor, for your approach.
Sure.
Why are they approaching? Is the jury still in the room?
They should be.
Maybe we didn't get to the proffer yet. I thought they were doing a proffer without the jury because that's what the chat told me. But if we're not that, we might not be there yet. The jury must still be in the room for this because otherwise, they wouldn't be approaching. They would just be. Oh, maybe this is when the jury gets sent out. Let's see.
I'm gonna need you to step outside.
Yep,
for a
this
couple
is
minutes.
it.
Do not discuss
Okay,
this case
now we're
amongst
here.
yourselves. Do not do the investigation and receive no information.
Well, why didn't you tell me, Chad? For crying out loud, you let me go on.
Mr. Whitney, I've now stopped the clock, but I need to hear what you're attempting.
Oh, he stopped the clock. Why?
You said that I asked the witness questions, or we send them out of the room while we discuss this on the
I would prefer the witness be excused, Your Honor. He's going to take a cue from this.
Well, okay. We're gonna ask you to step back. I might need you to come in and give me testimony outside the presence of the jury.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dr. Goodhair has to go out. Here we go.
Okay, the witness is outside our presence. Mr. Whitney, what is it that you're attempting to elicit out of this witness on this line of questioning?
Yes, I'm attempting to elicit testimony in rebuttal to witness Mr. Anderson's statements that the Joint Commission had found that Johns Hopkins met and exceeded expectations during the relevant period of time while Mike Kowalski was hospitalized.
Met and exceeded?
Yes, sir. And this witness has direct knowledge to the opposite through his role at the time at Brandon Regional Hospital. He participated directly in a call with senior counsel at Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital, who explained that the hospital had been reviewed by the Joint Commission and was in the classification as immediate jeopardy. And these surveys, as their expert testified to, are conducted on a triennial basis. So
every 3 years or 3 times a year?
Every 3 years. And so when he learned of this, the look back period included the time that Maya Kowalski was at the hospital and the time period in which they were found to be in immediate jeopardy.
On what basis?
His testimony will be that on a system-wide basis, there were programmatic failures that led to patient safety issues. That's his testimony. And as I mentioned at sidebar, I've instructed him to stay away from specific mention of the Heart Institute issues because I know that's a sensitive issue. But the classification received by Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital by Joint Commission is fair game because their expert came in here and testified to the opposite.
Okay, I need to understand better where or how this immediate jeopardy alleged finding, what was it based on? Because this has the potential of causing problems with this trial on appeal. So let's be clear as to what it is that you are trying to assert here.
I'll try to articulate it as best I can. The Joint Commission issues certain ratings classifications for hospitals upon their review every 3 years. In this instance, in 2017, when they were looking back at previous 3 years, they found that this hospital deserved the classification of immediate jeopardy. I'm happy to answer questions. I don't know what else I can say.
What generated the immediate jeopardy finding? If there is such a finding.
Yes. Well, here's the dilemma. Their expert testified that he had based his testimony upon summaries or outlines provided by defense counsel to him. I have the testimony. The Joint Commission.
It's Mr. Hunter.
The Joint Commission reports were not provided, not even to their experts. So the jury is left with a false impression based on the outline provided by defense counsel to the expert that they passed with flying colors.
Do you have any written documentation that would suggest that there's an immediate finding?
Yes, we do. And in fact, in his direct testimony previously, when he attempted to touch on CMS, Center for Medicaid Services, he was excluded from doing so because defense counsel said objected that this was referencing federal regulatory agencies. And then on direct examination by defense counsel, they asked, so I want you to explain what the joint commissions are, but is all children's audited by federal agencies to ensure that they are in compliance with federal safety plans? So then they introduced the concept of federal agencies. So Mr. Corcoran, Dr. Corcoran, is in possession of CMS findings wedded to this joint commission audit that have specific findings. Again, I wasn't going to put all that in front of the jury. I was going to keep it at a relatively high level.
All right, hold on. Let me try and see if I can explain this now. I've found on, let's see, the Baltimore Banner, Johns Hopkins Hospital's accreditation is at risk because it poses a threat to patients, accreditor says. This was in 2022, published in September of 2022. Spokesperson says hospital has addressed the issues and awaits a decision following a revisit from the Joint Commission. Johns Hopkins Hospital, a world-renowned healthcare center and one of Baltimore's largest employers, is at risk of losing its accreditation because monitors in August discovered something that poses a threat to patients or other individuals served. Surveyors identified 2 areas of concern. Liz Vandendreich, a spokesperson for the hospital, said in a statement, they flagged problems in the medical center's food preparation facilities, primarily the kitchen in one of the hospital's original buildings, and pointed out various pieces of furniture in need of repair. She declined to say more about what exactly the monitors found or share a copy of the report summarizing their findings. On Sunday, she said the problem stemmed from a routine check and noted this was the first time the institution's accreditation had been threatened. Vandendreich stressed that the hospital has already acted to address the problems and voluntarily closed its aging kitchen. Now, this is in Boston, I believe. So we don't know if this affects all children's in Florida or not, but it does look like there was a joint, what do they call it? The joint something, the federal organization investigation into them for some problems. Yeah, the Joint Commission. Maureen Lyons, a spokesperson for the accreditor, an organization called the Joint Commission, said she couldn't disclose any details about the preliminary denial of accreditation decision the commission made on August 12th because the move to seek her organization's endorsement is voluntary. However, Maryland requires hospitals, residential treatment centers, and related institutions to be accredited to qualify for licenses. That means if Hopkins Hospital lost its accreditation, it could lose its state license to operate, and with no license would be barred from treating patients. So this does not have any, finding a broken piece of furniture in a waiting room could be considered a dangerous thing, Anthony said, but there could be a whole range of furniture problems that are much more serious, like broken equipment in an operating room or an ICU. Which is it, she wondered. It's hard to tell. Carolyn Jacobs, a Baltimore lawyer who specializes in healthcare matters, described accreditation as the proxy that enables healthcare organizations to be licensed and qualified to provide vital services, such as the ability to treat Medicare patients. So having accreditation from the Joint Commission is really key, she said. All right. It doesn't look like there's anything more interesting there.
Well,
Let's keep going.
The alleged immediate finding, is that having to do with something having to do with the Heart Institute?
Yes. It's the best I can phrase that, and we could ask Dr. Corcoran's question because he's much more knowledgeable about this, is that it's a programmatic issue. It does not say Heart Institute isolated issues in the documents that he has. It does not say that.
Okay, Mr. Hunter, first off, can you help me understand, was Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital under some sort of immediate threat finding by the Joint Commission?
I'm going to tell Your Honor what I know, and since I was not, I don't know what documents.
Aren't you the general counsel of the hospital? Or
I'm
outside counsel?
I'm outside counsel, but I don't know all. I'm not general counsel. Okay.
I apologize, but help me understand, was there some sort of...
There was a finding of that sort, and I don't know the specifics of it.
Oh, really?
Or at least I don't have them off the top of my head. There was a finding of that sort that was made that was a direct and virtually exclusive result of the issue over the Heart Institute. And that was the driving force both behind the inquiry and behind the findings that were made. And that was what the findings were based upon, as I understood them to be, Your Honor.
And is this during the relevant time period?
It was during...
Whitney's nodding.
It was...
He's like, mm-hmm.
In part during the relevant time period.
Let me make
sure
I understand. Did the defense adduce evidence to have your witness bless the hospital and make it appear to the jury that everything was hunky-dory with the Joint Commission?
I don't believe so, Your Honor, but I was not in the room when Dr. Anderson testified.
I'm going
And
to take
if
a
I could-
5-minute break.
if I-
5 minutes.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! When Judge Carroll does this, he's really, really mad. When he walks out of the room and says, "I need to take a break," he's about to kill you. Like he's ready to kill you. He does that so he doesn't start yelling. He's pissed because he just asked Hunter, am I to understand that you let your witness get on the stand and lead this jury to believe that everything was hunky-dory with this hospital, with the Joint Commission, and that wasn't true? And Hunter's response was, "I don't know. I wasn't in the room."
Wow.
No. That did not just happen. And we've seen Judge Carroll do this one time before now, where he got up and was like, "I need a break. I got to take a break." And he leaves. He's only done that one time before now. And it was, again, because of the defense pushing him.
This seems
I need
really
to
serious.
understand if this finding was specific to like a department, or if it was more diffuse and more systemic to the whole organization. So I need testimony on that.
Understood.
Let's bring them on.
Oh boy, here we're going to get to find out. Now the judge wants to know. And he's not going to take any objections from these people. He's going to be like, "No, shut up. I want to know." Because now he's pissed. And he should be pissed. If they did this, knowing that there was a Joint Commission report out there saying that their client was in serious jeopardy of losing their accreditation, and they just glossed over it.
Say what he's going to say.
Shit. Oh, see? He said, "I'm going to let him say what he's going to say." That was awesome. That means don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
And the inquiry is limited to what the findings were.
What this is. I mean, just
Yeah, let's get it out there.
because we're
Absolutely.
out of time, but
Understood. Dr. Corcoran, through your investigation of Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital and your role at Brandon Regional at the time, is it true that you became aware of the Joint Commission findings for the relevant time period? Of Mike Kowalski's.
let him ask the questions. You'll get a chance, Mr. Hunter.
He's telling Hunter to shut up.
As a result of the investigation for this, yes, I became aware that there was an IJ or an immediate jeopardy.
And you've reviewed documents, although you haven't had access to the Joint Commission, you have access to, tell us what you had access to that you've reviewed, please.
So the only complete document was one that was presented in the newspaper. And that was the follow-up to the September Joint Commission visit where the immediate jeopardy was issued. And that.
But to be clear,
yes, sir.
You're not saying you only looked at a newspaper article.
No,
What document did you look to?
The newspaper printed the copy of the full 51-page report.
All right. Now, having reviewed that report, the primary question at this point is, can you describe what the specific findings were? And I'll direct you a little bit in that, were these hospital-wide issues, or were they limited, and we're outside the presence of the jury here, or were they limited to solely the issues with the Heart Institute that were covered in the media?
So I will tell you that an immediate jeopardy penalty or threat is issued when the problems are widespread and egregious. So typically that kind of a threat, as high impact as it is reserved for systemic failures.
So when you say that, do I understand you mean that it's not limited to the pediatric cardiovascular surgery unit? When an immediate jeopardy is issued, and based on review of the 51-page report, it's speaking to widespread issues within the hospital or hospital system.
Right. The adjectives that are frequently associated with IJ is widespread and egregious.
And
so by definition, it can't be it can't be an isolated occurrence to that happens once.
And within that document, were there also certain statements that were more or less acknowledgments by hospital leadership of the programmatic and widespread failures?
There was acknowledgement in the document itself that came out of an exit conference with I believe he was interim CEO at that point, came down from Baltimore, and he acknowledged that, and I don't have the quote because I don't have the document, but he acknowledged that their failures contributed to, I can't remember the exact term, but basically let patients down.
Oh God, I thought he was going to say let patients die.
Moving,
They probably did, though.
Away from that quickly, and if the court wants to cut me off, I'm sure it will. With your specific experience at Brandon Regional Hospital, you had a specific conversation with senior counsel at the hospital at the time regarding these findings, did you not?
I did.
Who did you speak to at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital?
I was on a call with my CEO and with Jackie Crane, senior counsel at All Children's.
And through that phone call, is it true that she confirmed the findings of immediate jeopardy? Is that right?
Correct. She confirmed the findings of IJ and expressed optimism that their corrective action plan would be accepted.
And so this is typical as well when Joint Commission comes like this, you have to develop a corrective action plan.
That's correct.
All right. And I just want to set up the reason for the call. If I understood,
He was on the
your
call.
testimony in our case was
Oh my
that
God.
you had a partnership or an affiliation with Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. And so was it true that your concern and the reason for this conversation with Ms. Crane was that it might have impacted your hospital?
That's correct. As I testified earlier, we worked with Jackie Crane, we worked with Dr. Napolitano and others to help us build out not only the infrastructure, but the talent to support the pediatric hospital within the hospital. If their IJ was going to be a factor for them, our concern at Brandon was that would this disrupt our operations of the pediatric care being administered?
All right. I will leave it there for the moment.
Mr. Hunter, any questions for this witness?
Yes, sir. The document that you reviewed was printed in the newspaper?
The survey document was made available through the newspaper. That's correct.
Which one?
Tampa Bay Times.
And what period of time? Well, when was the September review that you referred to? What year?
Thank you for the close up of the
September
back of your head, Whitney.
2018.
2018 was when the IJ was cited, was issued.
Okay.
And the follow-up survey that was published in the Tampa Bay Times was dated, memory serves, January 11, 2019. So about 2 months later.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, bad math. 4 months later.
Okay. So the survey you're referring to occurred in 2018, and the follow-up was in January of 2019.
The follow-up visit in the first full week of January. I believe the visit dates were January 7 through 11, 2019. And that survey was, in the explanation for the survey, was in follow-up to the IJ from September of 2018.
Okay. And the report you're referencing came from who? From JHACH or from CMS?
I believe that the follow-up survey was a federal survey, CMS.
So the follow-up survey was CMS. What was the original survey? Do you know?
I didn't have access to it.
Okay.
But IJs are typically issued by the Joint Commission during their triennial surveys or other surveys.
Okay. So you're not really sure who the IJ was issued by.
That's correct, because I don't have that document.
Okay. And you're not, but you do know that the follow-up was from CMS. But have you ever seen the actual report of the follow-up?
Yes, sir. They published the 51-page report.
So you saw the follow-up report?
That's all that I had access to, yes.
Okay. So you never saw the actual IJ report?
I never saw the September 2018 IJ report.
Okay. So you don't know what dates that IJ report covered?
Well, the IJ report, or the IJ that was issued, came out of a September 2018 report. If it was part of the Joint Commission survey, and that occurs every 3 years for accreditation, but then it would have been the 3 years leading up to September of 2018, taking us back to 2015.
The operative word in that sentence is if. Do you know that one way or the other? Not having ever seen the report?
No, sir.
Okay. So you can't tell this court for certain that that report was either A, Joint Commission as opposed to somebody else, or B, what dates it covered.
I cannot tell you with a 100.00% certainty that it was a Joint Commission survey. I can tell you that the overwhelming probability, because of the timing, because of the finding of the IJ, that typically would come from a Joint Commission visit. But 100.00%, I cannot attest to that.
You've never seen the document.
It's not been made available to me.
You've never seen the document, and you don't know what dates it covered.
It would cover up to the September visit that resulted in the IJ would cover the period immediately preceding, and in Joint Commission evaluations, they are 3
Okay, wait, hold on. I found it. I found the Tampa Bay article that they're talking about. This was about all children's. This is an IJ on all children's. So the report in Tampa Bay says Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital will make sweeping changes to its policies and structure in response to problems in its heart surgery unit, Johns Hopkins announced today. This was June 28th, 2019. I'm scanning down in the article. I'm going down to the bottom because we got to get to the problems quickly because I need to get out of here and get to work. Sower said the firm discovered a culture of fear and retaliation and retribution across the hospital, but determined that the quality and safety issues were limited to the heart unit. But the culture of fear and retaliation and retribution, Chandler. Now, this would explain why every single witness Johns Hopkins has put up has told this ridiculous story about Maya spitting and swearing at them one minute, and the next minute we loved her. She was the sweetest little girl. And, I mean, it makes no sense. They've got all their stories together because there's a culture of retaliation and retribution there. Sowers declined to release the detailed findings from the firm's investigation. The story had already been told, he told the Times in an interview. You've been a part of telling that story. The question I think our board was looking at was, what were the people failures, the system failures, and the process failures that we could learn from and become a better organization so this would never happen again? Other recommendations.
His testimony. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just
No,
like his
there's
testimony
a lot more.
he said that I'm trying to get it right. I know that he said that he characterized it as egregious and I believe systemic were the two
Systemic.
qualities. Systemic and
Mhm.
egregious.
Mhm.
Systemic does not limit itself, in my opinion, to one department or one ward.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know what the structure is like as far as the hierarchy in the hospital, but it would appear to me that if they were hiding this information in testimony, not only is that a perjury charge, but the misleading element of that. Let's say that it was just limited to the heart department. It would be irrelevant to Maya's case. And so the jury would be able to look at that and go, well, it was limited, but they should have
Mhm.
testified to it. They should have been, they should have disclosed it. They should have been open about it. And the fact that they hid it, this is a huge, huge, huge problem for the
Listen to
defense.
how huge this is. In making personnel decisions, consider the effect on team dynamics. The Times also reported that hospital leaders had failed to report safety incidents to the appropriate regulatory agencies. Sowers and former employees had used concerns about malpractice lawsuits as a rationale to why things weren't being reported. Gibbs and Dunn suggested that all children's develop a clear disclosure policy that prioritizes sharing, disclosing, or reporting information. Remember, you notice they didn't disclose, or at least we don't think they did, any of this stuff about Maya to the upper echelon in this hospital. Again, not reporting things. Gibbs and Dunn called for the system to consider expanding the institute's emphasis from a focus on education and research to include a focus on patient safety, because patients are not safe there apparently. Okay, skipping through. So they were supposed to implement changes, and this was part of the phone call that this guy was on. I gotta go soon. We'll get as far as we can, and then I gotta get out of here.
Wow, this is huge.
Do you know what the basis specifically was for what you're referring to as the IJ in September of 2017? Never having seen the report.
The IJ, the character of the IJ was referenced in the first 3 paragraphs on page 1 of the January report. May I refresh my recollection of what that addresses?
I thought you said you didn't have the report.
I don't know, sir.
You're not listening.
Perhaps I'm not being clear today. I have the January 2019 report, which in the first 3 paragraphs, left top on page 1, addresses the immediate jeopardy, because that's the reason for the follow-up visit in January of 2019. It addresses the IJ and as the reason for the follow-up visit. So what I don't have, sir, is the September 2018 report.
So what you reviewed would tell you what the 2019 report said about the 2018 report that you haven't seen.
The first 3 paragraphs of the 2019 report reference back to the IJ being issued in September of 2018. I do not have access to the 2018 report.
All right, I'm not going to be able to get to this, you guys, because I got to get ready and get to work. I don't want to get fired. Here's what I have found, however, before we leave here. here, and I'll come back and we'll do a recap, and you guys can go and watch this on your own, and then I'll talk to you about it later when I get back. Here is the original story that was done by the Tampa Bay Times. They made it very simple for people with some bullet points. Major developments. Top management left the hospital. The CEO, the vice president in charge of risk management, and the chief heart surgeon all resigned in December of 2018. 3 other top administrators left weeks later in January of 2019. The hospital will pay nearly $43 million to families of children who died or were hurt in the heart unit. 2 families received 8-figure settlements. They are caring for children who were permanently disabled August 23rd of 2019. Additional legal claims are expected. Johns Hopkins says it will admit liability in many of the cases. The governor signed a bill into law to increase oversight of children's heart surgery programs. Teams of pediatric heart doctors will be allowed to visit struggling programs and recommend corrective action. Federal inspectors identified widespread problems and declared the hospital had put patients in immediate jeopardy of harm. The hospital signed a binding 12-month agreement with the government to avoid being cut off from public funding in May of 2019. State regulators said they will issue record fines to the hospital. They included some of the largest fines the state has issued against a hospital in recent memory. That was September of 2019. Johns Hopkins is making sweeping changes to all children's, apparently not. An internal probe commissioned by the board of Johns Hopkins Medicine made a series of recommendations, including new checks and balances on hospital leadership. So this is a systemic, widespread, well-known problem, and this was hidden from the jury. It was not allowed in. How is this possible?
I looked up the definition of immediate jeopardy because I saw some people in the chat were asking what that means. It is a situation in which entity noncompliance has placed the health and safety of recipients in its care at risk for serious injury, serious harm, serious impairment, or death. That's not a little thing. I mean, that is shady as hell. Wow. I'm just reeling from this. I don't even
The
know how
other
to
thing that
react.
is bothering me is the idea that they were not reporting things, and that this was a culture of retaliation, a culture of other nurses and doctors not wanting to speak up or report things because of this fear of retaliation from the 7th floor coven, probably, or others like that. The 7th floor coven is not unusual at JHACH. Apparently, this is going on all over. This is nuts. You guys, I wish I could. If Chandler wants to fire up her stream and keep covering this, she can do that. I can't leave her here because she can't control it, unfortunately. So I do have to shut down the stream. But you guys either can go over, and I don't know what Chandler's doing today. But I know that Recovery Addict is covering it live, and his coverage is fantastic. But I gotta go. Chandler, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it.
Thanks
And
for
if I can
having
come
me.
back tonight, you guys, if I'm not back too late, we'll do a night stream and I'll go over all of this. But I gotta run, or I'm gonna be late. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you at tonight probably. Don't worry, I'll be back.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. choices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye.